Disclaimer, this video mentions death and chronic illness, as well as it has me crying momentarily. If this is something you find triggering, then I recommend not watching this video. Please note that talking about having a chronic illness is still very hard for me to do, so I struggled to find the words to express how I was feeling in this video. I found it very difficult. Till this day, I still don't have the words to adequately describe how I felt. And instead of leaning into perfection, I am going to lean into the raw. My raw, true, semi-unfiltered words. Hi guys, I'm Mo, and I'm chronically ill. I have dysautonomia, which pretty much means that my nervous system is out of whack with my body. For example, when I stand up, things that my body would typically do involuntarily, like control my heart rate and blood pressure, it doesn't really know how to do exactly. So when I stand up, sometimes I just faint, or I feel like I'm going to faint, so the room could start spinning. I can get really dizzy, really lightheaded really quickly, and unfortunately there is no cure. It's been about 1 year since I found out that I had dysautonomia. I got this from the COVID vaccine, unfortunately, and I actually recently had COVID this month. I got it in May and now I'm in June and I'm still recovering from it. So I've been pretty sick lately, and it reminded me of how sick I was this time last year and how reading really got me through it. I honestly thought I was going to die. Nobody knew what was happening to me. Nobody knew what was wrong with me. People kept telling me they think I'm having a stroke because I was losing feeling on the right side of my body. It was extraordinarily frightening, unsettling. I honestly thought I was going to die. I gave my last words to my family members. I made peace with my life. And then I found out that I have dysautonomia, and there may not be a cure, but there are treatment options to increase my quality of life. My world did a whole 360, and reading was just kind of there for me to escape the turmoil of my health. When I first got sick, it took 3 months for me to get a diagnosis, and during those 3 months, I was getting progressively worse, so I was fully convinced I was going to die. And reading actually saved me. It gave me a break from suffering in my own mind and body, and truly helped me escape with that horrible reality that I was in. And it made me realize there are so many books that make me feel so good, even when I am horribly ill. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. Since I've been in the process of getting over COVID and I've hit my 1 year of being chronically ill anniversary, I figured I would talk about all the books that made me feel better when I was sick. Having AMI really sucked. I was horribly ill on top of having a horribly ill chronic illness, and it was just a crazy ride. So I want to talk about the books that actually got me through that crazy ride. When I first got sick this time last year, I was actually re-beginning my reading journey, and I had pretty much ran out of all my favorite books to read. Whenever I don't feel good, I tend to go to my favorite books to read, and I quickly ran out. I was reading the Twilight series, the Mortal Instrument Chronicles, my OG favorite, Under the Never Sky. Once I had pretty much ran through those, I was actually looking on the internet for books I should start reading, and everyone and their baby mama suggested ACOTAR. And these books couldn't have come at a better time. I was introduced to ACOTAR through the internet and BookTube when my chronic illness was at its worst. At this point, I couldn't stand for more than 10 minutes without wanting to faint or just fainting. I would throw myself on the floor because I knew if I fainted and I hit my head that I probably will have bigger issues in life than just fainting. And I was pretty much losing feeling on the right side of my body. I had this horrible tremor. I could barely eat anymore. It was horrible. Literally horrible. And then I got these books. And even though it was just a break from my hellhole, it was the best break I could have asked for. And this is so hard to talk about. Even though it's been like 1 year since this has happened to me, I still live with my illness every single day. But I think that's why these books made it to my favorites. Because these books came to me in such a dark time of my life that I couldn't not make them my favorites. I remember reading this book, sitting on my couch, and thinking my last words to give my family members, not knowing if I was gonna live or die. And even though these books aren't the best written, even though they aren't the best plot-wise, even though they're problematic in many ways, I still love them for their escapism, for the break they gave me, and for that, they will forever be some of my favorite books. I had essentially read the entire series, and I cannot produce the words to say how much of a blessing these were in my life for that time. I'm pretty sure everyone and their baby mama knows what ACOTAR is, but if you don't, I suggest looking it up. I will say, without a doubt, it is problematic. It does have its issues, but I still love these books. Not for what they are, but for what they did for me. And that's enough for me. The next book is These Hello Vows by Alexi Ryan. So, being chronically ill, you have a lot of ups and downs. And February of this year was one of my downs. And this book helped me get through it. When your health dips and you're already chronically ill, things get really, really bad. Very quickly. I pretty much spent the month of February in my bed because I was so ill from my dysautonomia. I was so dizzy, I could not read. And it was giving me flashbacks of June of last year when I was so sick, when I couldn't even shower without wanting to pass out. And I was literally crawling up my stairs to get to my bedroom. February was the month of utter dizziness. Room spinning, wanting to pass out, nauseous, barely able to use your strength to do anything productive, essentially. And these Hollow Vows did it for me. It's just like ACOTAR, though. If you like ACOTAR, you'll like these Hollow Vows, but there's even like a Rysand-like character. It's problematic. The plot's not always there. But these books still did it for me. It still helped me escape my horrible reality. And for that, it will always be one of my favorites. These next books were from this month, and they'll be no surprise to y'all because I'm pretty sure you've already heard of this series. It is the Shatter Me series by Tahereh Mafi. And this was a recent love and a recent addition to the favorites because they made me feel better when I was sick. So these are from this month, June, and the end of May. So unfortunately, when you are chronically ill, getting sick is worse for you than it would be for someone else who is fully healthy, like is completely healthy and normal. So I was always nervous that if I got COVID, I probably would not survive it, honestly. I truly thought like the COVID vaccine gave me dysautonomia. If I got COVID, then I probably won't make it. And here I am today. I made it. So these are the books that got me through it. I had already read Shatter Me before I had caught the Ami, but once I caught the Ami, I was able to get through Unravel Me, Ignite Me, Restore Me, Defy Me, Imagine Me, and all of the novellas. Shadow Me, Revive Me, Reveal Me, I don't remember what it's called. Destroy Me, Something Me. I don't have all the names straight in my head, but I read all of them, and I've actually already started rereading them since I am still recovering. I still feel very much bad, unfortunately. That is something I've noticed. I am taking a long time to recover, but I am happy I am recovering. So that's the positive to this. And at last, a honorable mention, Under the Never Sky by Chronically. So this was one of my favorite books before I got sick, and this was the book I was reading when I was in the hospital, and they told me they thought I was having a stroke, and no one really knew what was wrong with me after they figured out that I wasn't having a stroke, but it was crazy. Bonkers crazy. They told me that my brain was enlarged, and it was bad. It was really, really bad. So this book has another special place in my heart because it was already a favorite, but this was the books I was reading. I read the entire trilogy while I was in the hospital, and because of that, I felt like I needed to put it as an honorable mention because it was just there in the dark days. It was there in the dark times. Under the Never Sky isn't a very popular book by any means. I truly feel like it's underrated. It is a very simple yet beautiful and enjoyable story. It is YA dystopian, and yes, this is my very janky old used library copy that I bought on secondhand books, but I love this story. If you like The Hunger Games or Divergent, you would probably like Under the Never Sky. It is right up that alley. I wanted to make this video because being sick this past month has reminded me about how sick I was last year and what these books meant for me and what they did for me. And I never wanted to forget that. So I figured, why not make a video of these books? The books that specifically got me through my illnesses and those dark days when I didn't know if I was going to make it. The ones that were outside my favorite books that have now been added into the collection. I know a lot of you guys have probably already seen these books talked about a million times over, but I wanted to encourage you guys to make a list of books that make you feel better when everything is going horribly wrong. That way, you have something to turn to when the horribly wrong hits the fan. And I hope your escapism helps you in those moments. I hope your favorite characters cradle you in their hearts. And I hope you get lost to the pages. There is a blessing in being able to shut off your mind from your issues of the moment and just be in a happy, pure bliss. There is value in that. I do plan on adding more books to this collection, books that made me feel better when I'm horribly ill, because the unfortunate side of being chronically ill is that bad days are sadly almost guaranteed to be around the corner. So I want to make sure that I'm reading a lot and I'm collecting the books that will make those dark days better. A lot of these books can be referred to as a comfort read, but overall my favorite books for me, they were comfort reads, yeah, but they were also so much more. To all the books that got us through our darkest days, happy reading, y'all. Bye.